Good evening, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. It's Thursday night. You guys, I'm going to apologize right off the bat. It's a little dark. My light literally just broke as we were trying to come on here tonight, and it needs some glue repair. So we thought it was better to just come on and do the live, and I will repair my light after this. So much for that idea. Yeah. It always happens, right? So you guys, it is Thanksgiving Thursday. I hope you guys have had a great day with your family and friends. I hope everybody has eaten a good meal and you're sitting at home with elastic pants on right now, just watching TV together. So my name is Brandy. I'm with Brushed by Brandy, and I'm a Dixie Belle Paint brand ambassador, and I paint here with you guys live every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I thought today's no exception. I'm going to go ahead and go live. We were hosting from our house. We have company over right now, but this is what we do here, so why not?
Train wreck.
It's still good family time. So we're gonna paint with you guys, even though it's Thanksgiving. I'll celebrate with this audience. So you guys come on and let us know where you're watching from, and what we're gonna do tonight is what's better than some traditional Thanksgiving blending with Brushed by Brandy.
But of course.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing tonight. So this is the piece that I'm working on, and I've done this finish before, but I have another request for it because it's been very popular for me. But I'm going to do a purple vanity, and it's going to have some bold flowers in a transfer on it, and I'll add some decoration to this. But I'm going to show you guys how I laid on the base. So what I'm starting with is this is my piece right here, and I do have 2 coats of Dixie Belle Boss on here. Boss is Dixie Belle Stain and Odor Blocking Primer. So I cleaned my surface really well and I put Boss on it. The reason I put Boss on it is because I've done pieces from this set before, and I know that they do have a tendency to bleed. I had this furniture in a whole bedroom set, and they do have a tendency to bleed. What bleeding is the tannins from the wood can come through and discolor my paint. Even though I'm using darker colors, you can still get splotchiness and a yellowing that happens when your paint bleeds through. So I do have my Dixie Belle Boss on here. Now the other perk about this is I love laying paint on top of Boss. It's a really nice base. So you know when you're painting over furniture, your paint, it doesn't get very good coverage in the first coat. It can kind of leave it streaky. Boss has a little bit of tooth to it. It dries very matte. And so the paint sticks to it just beautifully. It gives you a beautiful first coat when you use Boss. So,
did you just say tooth?
Tooth. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, houndstooth.
Yeah. Who comes up with these?
So even if you don't need Boss, it still is worth it to put it on for a beautiful first coat to give to, it's not a gripping primer, so don't think that, but it just gives your paint a beautiful finish on it. Okay, so let's talk about my colors that I'm using tonight, okay? These paint containers are a huge mess, and the reason is because they're custom mixes. So what I do when I'm going to mix a color, I save my Dixie Belle paint containers. If they're not too destroyed, I will save them to make custom mixes in. And this was one of those situations.
We got a hi from Taiwan.
Ooh!
How about that?
Let's see.
Morning.
I guess we're way past Thanksgiving in Taiwan, huh?
Do they celebrate Thanksgiving in Taiwan?
Yeah, that's a great question. We'll get
I'm really curious.
Get some worldwide education while we're here. Okay, so my first mix is a mix of muscadine wine and aubergine. Muscadine wine. I know I'm going to drive you guys crazy with that. It doesn't stick for me at all. It's not there. So this is muscadine wine and aubergine with a tiny bit of tea rose, just to lighten it a little bit. And what that does is it makes this warm wine color.
Marcia, that was my thought too. I just wanted to get the chime as far as Thanksgiving is concerned, whether it's going to be.
It doesn't.
Well, we'll find out.
Okay, and then I took my mix, my muscadine wine, and I made another mix.
Yeah, a super glue.
I'm telling you, this has been even harder in the cold weather. It seems like they stick even worse. So this one here, you can kind of see it on the lid. I just added a little bit more of the tea rose. So this one's heavier on the tea rose. So I technically have 2 color mixes, although this one was born from my first color mix, and then I just added a little bit heavier on one of the colors to give me a different color.
So random, but that's what I do. Cecilia from Australia mentioned that they don't celebrate. Now, I would. Well, it's an American holiday,
when
but
you think about the roots.
I mean, I just like to celebrate any holiday
for nothing. But then you go back to the Mayflower and the Pilgrims and all those stories, And so let me tell you guys a little bit about what I do when I mix colors. So when I've done a piece and I mix a color, I have this little color mix journal here. When I mix a color, I will make myself a swatch in this book. It's just a little drafting book, something that I got. And every time I go back and I remix that color, I will take a little finger and I'll touch my color mix here to see if I'm close, and I'll let it dry. And then I can see, so here's an example in this book where I touched it and my mix was a little bit darker. So then I know that I need to lighten that up a little bit to get to the color that I'm after in my book, if that makes sense. And I label them with what the mix was. Now I usually eyeball my mixes. I don't measure them. So if you're going to ask me what the mixture ratios were, you're wasting your time, guys. All I can tell you was with this mix, I start with the muscadine wine and I add aubergine until I like the color. So I always eyeball my mixes, but this is so I know where I'm trying to get to. I keep a little sample book. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm not a machine. They're always the slightest bit off. Sometimes I tint them a little bit different to make them the slightest bit off. Unless I was measuring maybe on like a postal scale, mixes are going to be a little bit different each time. Good thing I had that in my contract, huh? Okay, so we've got our coat of Boss on here. Let's start laying some paint on. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the difference between a 2-color blend, which is what I've got on here so far. This is my first coat. I just did a first coat on this part so that I can come behind and show you guys the first coat and the second coat tonight. I'm going to start out just blending 2 colors on this side. That's what I've got here. When we get there, I'm going to add a 3rd color to it. So you guys can see a little bit of the difference between a 2-color blend and a 3-color blend. I tend to use, let me grab my brushes over here. I tend to do 3-color blending, and people ask me why a lot. And the reason is because I like to have a dark, a medium, and a light. So I have the medium is usually my dominant color. In this case, the medium is going to be my mixture of muscadine wine, I said it right for you guys, and aubergine with a little bit of tea rose. It's going to be my darker purple. That's my medium color. That's what's going to be dominant. I usually start with my dominant color, and then I add my lighter color, which is a highlight, and my darkest color, which is a low light. So let's go ahead and get a 2-color blend on here right now. So I'm using my Dixie Belle Mini to lay my paint on. I have out a few extra of my mini. I have out 1 for each color, and then I have out a an oval medium that I'm going to use as my neutral brush, my blending brush, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use it to work these colors together. I'm going to try to keep my shadow off this because I know we're shy on light tonight.
I wonder why.
I know. Sorry, guys. I said at the beginning my light broke like literally just before. It needs to be glued and clamped. And that was not going to happen before we needed to come on camera. So I have another one, but even getting that out would have taken us time. So we would have been really late tonight otherwise. Is that hitting the door?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to create my basic shape here. And the shape I'm kind of going to work with is a U shape. And I just kind of, I'm going to carry it up. Oh, it's the drawers hitting. I'm going to carry it up a little bit higher than I think I want this purple, and the sides in a little bit more than I think I want them. And that just gives me a part that I can overlap my next color. My top is going to be a wood stained. I have not stripped it down yet. I generally prefer to do a wood stain top before I lay my paint on. But that was a time issue, so I will probably sand this instead of chemically strip it, just because once I have a paint finish on here, there's no way I want to accidentally drip stripper on it. Wood stripper.
Brandy must not be on here. Is that a synthetic brush you're using?
This is synthetic. So these are the Dixie Belle synthetic brushes. I much prefer laying paint on with the synthetic brush. I guess a few people do, but I don't know a lot of people that lay their paint on with a natural bristle brush. It leaves texture in it. If you're going for textured finishes, I like natural bristles, but when I just want to lay on a smooth coat of paint, I use synthetic. They just lay the paint on much smoother. Okay, now I'm going to go to my lighter color, which is that same mix of muscadine wine and aubergine, only this time it's got a little bit heavier on the tea rose. And you can see the tea rose lightened it up and made it kind of a Oh gosh, what would you call this color?
You don't want my opinion.
It's kind of a lavender, but
it's all purple to me.
Yeah, it's good. It's purple and purple.
It's a light purple and a deep purple.
We'll just call it our light purple. And then I'm going to brush it right into the sides. I'm just using my same brush right now that I used for laying it on. And get a little bit more paint, just because it got a little bit muddy up here. And that gives me my basic shape. Now I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Now I've got paint on, I want to work it out. And this is just a first coat on this side, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm coming back with my brush from my darker purple. And I'm just going to true up that color a little bit.
True up the light purple with the dark purple?
Yeah, the dark purple, when I brush the light into it, it starts getting a little bit lost. And so I just want to give myself a little bit more of that dark. Okay, and now that I've got two colors on here basically laid out, I need to smooth out all of these imperfections. So I'm just going to take my brush. This is a clean, dry brush. And I'm just going to feather through where those colors meet up together. Now, some of these areas where it's a little bit harsher of a transition, like I just swirled that one together.
Sorry, guys. Trying to move my hand out of the picture, too.
And that was because it was a bit streaky. So I just want to kind of feather dust those transitions away. And this is just my first coat. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get my colors roughly laid out. This is when I usually am conceptualizing how I want my finish, where the color is going to go. Just need a little better coverage in the center right there for that lighter color. So that was just to improve my coverage. I'm going to wipe my brush on a rag. This is my clean, dry brush, my oval medium. And I'm going to come back here and just work this line a little bit. Now, I don't need to over focus, and I have a tendency to do that where I want my first coat to be perfect. But you need to be okay with your first coat just being laying your colors out. I always talk to you guys that I will take my drawers out and I paint around them. So this is the point when I've got paint on all the sides of my drawers, when I would come back and I do paint around the edges of my drawers. So while the paint is still wet, I pull them out. So I was able to blend over the front, get a uniform blend. But now I want to come back and make sure that the edges of my drawers are all covered. So I'm just going to paint on this top lip here. At the same time, I would come back and I like to get these edges on the drawer. So right here, so this is where my dovetail starts, but this is my drawer face. And I like to get the edges of that drawer face. I don't usually paint my drawer edges unless sometimes a customer will ask for them to be painted. If I'm just doing it as a fun decorative accent, I do, that is considered an upgraded finish to have your drawer boxes painted. It actually takes quite a bit of time. And there's no point because drawer boxes are wood because that's the best material for them. Now, I don't like to do a lot of paint around the frame of my drawers because it will, if you get your paint on there too thick, it will start sticking around your drawer frame too. So I'll take all three of these out and I'll do all around all the drawer edges. But then I also come in here and make sure that around my frame, my drawer frame is painted. So I show you guys this all on camera, but you don't usually get to see, or I tell you I do it, but you don't usually get to see that I actually take all these drawers out afterwards while my paint is still wet. And I paint around the edges of my drawer box.
So this is like a behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is behind, I mean, there's nothing fun or pretty about this, but, and I just do, so you guys can probably see this better. I'll just do this piece of wood right here. You don't need to go all the way back. I don't even need to get this because this doesn't show. My drawers have a lip that overhangs this. But I just want to make sure that when the drawer is shut, you don't see any wood peeking through. When you're painting on raw wood, a little bit of water helps your paint absorb a little bit better into that raw wood. So you'll notice I do spritz it with some wood.
You mean some water? Spritz
some
it with some water.
Spritz it with some water. Don't spritz with wood.
I do pay attention
I
to what
know.
you say.
You are here for something.
Moral support and even
the other day
that's
that I
like
was like, do you even pay
the
attention
birds
to
on the
my-
piece over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I need to clear coat my birds piece, and he was like, "What's the birds piece?" He was looking for something that literally had birds flying on it. I'm like, were you even paying attention?
Look! I don't think I just work here.
Yeah, like, did you miss
for free?
A whole live I did dedicated to the movie The Birds. I thought that was a universal, like you would just get that right away. Nope. Had no clue we were painting the birds the other night.
Huh?
Did you know Aaron was doing Wizard of Oz? Maybe you were paying more attention to Aaron than you were to me.
Who's Aaron?
Is Aaron on tonight? No, he's spending Thanksgiving with his family. As we should be too. My mom's actually inside right now.
Watching the kids.
No, you guys, I did want to say something tonight. We have a law enforcement family. A lot of members of our family are first responders, law enforcement. And so, for example, my sister's husband, and they tend to work on Thanksgiving. So to all of our first responders who are out there working tonight, missing Thanksgiving with their family, we wanted to say thank you to you guys. So we will see my sister probably later in the weekend when we can all be together instead of missing. So that's what we do. You just kind of reschedule it around them. I
need to renegotiate my contract. Brittany came on and said that you probably pay me in favors, and no, I do work for free.
Not even that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, well, I wish I can't even say like I cook meals for you and stuff.
Yep.
Because that, he usually doesn't.
There's a term that comes to mind. Raw deal. Yeah, I mean, so I've heard. Yeah.
Okay, so I did all around my drawer boxes. I did the inside of my frame. This is to a point where I would leave it. Right? Yeah. This is why I wear what I wear on camera, because I'm always a mess. So I'm going to move over to the other side of this, which means you're in my way.
Oh my gosh.
You're in my way.
Sorry, people.
So I'm going to move over to the other side, and we'll work on what will be our second coat now. Get those colors out of the way. So now that they're all blended across the front, I can leave them out to sit to dry, and then I can put them back in and do my second coat, which is where this side of my piece is tonight. This side has already had this done. It's already nice and dry. So a 2-color blend is pretty basic, but it's actually still a really pretty finish. I'm trying to not knock those over. It's actually really pretty finish. I've got just my dark color and my light color here. That was it. I just laid that on, and then I worked out those transitions a little bit with my neutral brush. But now I'm going to darken some of this up even more still with my third color. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to push these drawers in.
Oh, man. Peggy, tears are going to come to my eyes. Do you share your millions?
I mean, painting,
millions of problems.
Painting does pay very well.
Oh, man. My back is actually sore from carrying bags of money today.
In my defense, now it's been 20 years ago, but I did own a house when we got married. I did.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, this is true. I did.
Yeah.
So California is a community property state, so it meant nothing from day one. But we're well past that.
Gold digger.
Don't call yourself that.
Yeah. I know what I wanted. A house.
Okay, so my darker color I'm going to add is Midnight Sky. I love Midnight Sky for shading. So I'm going to come down here. My legs are going to be actually pure Midnight Sky. Even though I've got this purple on there right now, which is my darker purple, the paint gets good enough coverage that I can just put one coat of Midnight Sky over this dark purple, and you're not going to know that it's actually 2 different colors of paint. And I did that just for convenience.
Yours or mine?
So, is anything about this really convenient for you?
Yeah. We'll go back into the...
So Midnight Sky is kind of interesting because it can lean a little bit blue if you put it next to blues. It can lean gray if you put it next to grays. It can lean black. It can, in this case, I'm asking it to pull out the purple tones in it. It has kind of a navy tinge to it, and navy tends to have purple undertones in it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
No, you're my sugar mama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have a job.
Yeah, but I mean, things have changed a lot since we,
since then? Oh, yeah.
I was sugar mama in it for a long time.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I went to college. I did a really good job.
That's right. To be a sugar mama.
It evened out somewhere along the road. It always does, right? Isn't that the name of the game? flips back and forth a little bit. So now I figure I can sit back and just relax. And
what?
I put my time in.
Oh my god.
Okay, so do you see how even, I'm going to bring this up a little bit higher, but just that little bit of paint on just the bottom added so much drama to this. So I'm going to carry this up a little bit. And even into this frame on my drawer a little bit. Sorry, it's so dark.
Should be.
Are they able to see it okay?
You should probably
I know.
pay the
I'm
electrical
gonna make you
bill.
mad at me. Guys, come on. Like I know it's entertaining when family argues on holidays, but like you guys are gonna make Sean mad at me on Thanksgiving.
No, Peggy, my job is not landscaper. That's one of my 17 hats that I wear.
Sean used to work for a contractor when we first got together, so it used to be.
Wasn't a landscaper?
Well, you kind of were. You did fence work, right? I don't know where you're putting fences at, but to me that's landscaping. And now he's mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're doing interior fencing.
Yes. With a sword.
Baby gates.
Yep.
All right, I'm giving myself a little bit of this darker purple color. This is just freshening it up. Just giving me some paint to work with, some wet paint, so that I can blend that midnight sky up into this. I'm using more water on this coat. It's a really thin coat, you guys. My first coat, I got coverage on it. I'm not using this for coverage. This is just where I'm going to perfect all of my blending. I'm going to smooth all this out. So I'm giving myself a little bit of paint to work with, and the first one I'm going to work into each other is that midnight sky. So now I'm coming back with my brush from my midnight sky, and I'm brushing it right into that wet paint I just gave myself from the darker purple. And now you're not going to be able to tell where that midnight sky ends, and I keep it nice and long. If my transition period is only this big, it's going to look like a stripe. You see how I'm going to brush it all the way up into this dark purple and all the way up into the dark purple.
So what are these colors that you're using? Let's help Susan out.
Okay, so I've got 3 colors going on. My first color, my darkest one is Midnight Sky. That one's easy. My medium color, which is my dark purple, is a mix of muscadine wine, aubergine, and a little bit of tea rose. Barely any tea rose. This one, I took that mix and I added a little bit more tea rose to it. So I've got 2 colors with the same base, but this one's just a lighter shade of it. And then you know that they're going to coordinate because they're made of the same base.
Coordinate.
So if you're doing that, you can take your color that you're looking to highlight and just make a darker or lighter version of itself. And then you don't have to find coordinating colors. So I just gave myself my lighter color.
Sorry. I'm trying to multi.
You're gonna hold the light. Oh, there you go.
There we go, guys. Hopefully that helps.
Sean's holding.
Nobody said anything.
My broken light.
Oh my gosh.
Is it getting glare on the wet paint though? Maybe you could get like an umbrella and hold that up too.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Keep going.
I am trying to keep it from the...
Okay, this is my paintbrush for my darker color. It's pretty dry though, you guys. So I think the difference is too, I'm using so little paint that it's not making a big soupy mess. That was so little paint, so I can come back and now with my clean dry brush and just work those 2 together. See, I've got a little bit of a stripe effect right here. So that's the area I want to pay attention to. And I can brush it horizontally to get rid of that stripe. And then come back. I can brush it crisscross, whatever it takes for me to get rid of that line. I'm seeing a line right there. I'm going to see it even more when it dries.
What are you going to do to the top?
Top's going to be wood stained. So I do have paint that I'm getting up here on the edge. I'm going to have to come back and sand this top back down. Usually I recommend doing the top, a wood stained top, before you paint the body, but I did not do that here because it was a time issue to get this ready for tonight.
It was a time issue just to get on camera.
Yeah, so it's always a time issue for me. So I will come back and I will just sand the top. Okay, up here, my paint has started to dry a little bit. I'm just going to freshen it up. This is my lighter purple. And then my darker purple. Just give me some paint to work with. And now with my clean dry brush, I'm just going to work these into each other. I'm going to kind of use whatever motion works to get those paint colors to move together. This is a really good spot. Can you get in here right here? Let's work this.
Here, let me set the light down.
Okay, my clean dry brush, and I can just feather those two colors together. I'm kind of going every which way. Just softens up that line, and now those colors blend into each other and you can't even tell where they ended. So now I'm going to come down here, and I just do one spot at a time. So I just did this little drawer section, and I did up here, and I like it. Now I'm going to come down and work here.
Where are we going now?
We're down here.
Of course you are.
I think you're going to need light because there's a lot of shadow down here. I'm serious.
I know. Did you not see my hands? Apparently you missed that part.
Okay, so I just added a little bit of water to this section, and now I'm just using my clean dry brush, and I'm just fixing this up a little bit. Another thing that sometimes helps is if I wanted to use this clean dry brush down here on these darker colors, I could come back with another clean dry brush and use it on this other transition. If you feel like they're starting to get too muddy, like don't hesitate to pull out another one of these clean dry brushes and work those out. So
question for you. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh, pumpkin pie. Is that a choice?
I'm going to guess it is.
Well, because that's dessert. Or are you asking me for like...
I'm not discriminating against any of it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys our full menu, okay? And you guys can come tell me what you guys had tonight, too.
You mean when we eat?
Yeah, we haven't eaten yet. It's a little late. We have a ham. We have, of course, pumpkin pie. We have green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, stuffing. Would have liked to have corn, but I didn't get any. So
I'm like envisioning this as you're saying it.
I'm hungry too. We have, of course, cider, right? Sparkling cider. We don't drink, but we do drink a lot of sparkling cider. Okay, so now I see that there's a little bit of paint gathered in this lip right here. I'm going to pull this drawer open. I know.
Here, let me set this light down. Let me get the feet involved.
Yeah, just kick it to me.
There we go.
I'm going to pull this out while this paint is still wet that I can see gathered in this drawer right here. And I want to smooth that down. Don't let your paint gather there and then dry while it's, if you have to, you can come back and sand that. But I do this all while my paint is still wet. And then I'm going to come back with my darker. And I blend around the drawer too. So this drawer top. See, I put my two colors on there, and then I come back, feather out in between them. The closer in tone that your two colors are, the easier they're going to be to blend. So because this is just a tonal version of itself, it's a really easy color for me to blend. So I'm going to get down here. I'm not going to paint underneath this drawer box because I don't want it to start sticking. So I just make sure that's nice and clean, no drips. And same thing down here. Just so it doesn't stick, and this drawer top looks nice and clean. We'll go ahead and just blend it out.
Brittany's sick, so she's not...
Oh, do you have the COVID,
non-traditional. Brittany? Some mashed cauliflower.
Ooh.
Wow, that makes my stomach churn.
Sorry, Brittany.
Oh, Mandy says it's her 60th birthday. She's
Happy
here watching
birthday!
us. Well, she's really stuck in the house.
Hey, no fault for that, right? This is the year to just have quiet at home Thanksgivings. That's what we did today. We had a burn pile. Our kids played. We did s'mores this morning. Burned some tree stumps on our land. So, okay. So I'm gonna come over. I'll go behind you, but I want to show the difference between the two colors and then what that third color added. I'm just putting that in there dark.
Oh, cool. Brittany, just no Rona.
No, okay, good. That's good.
Just a cold.
Yeah, just get a cold.
What am I doing now?
So I just want to put
I
these.
feel like I'm playing horseshoes with this light.
So on this side we did the basic two colors.
I'm gonna pull back, guys.
And on the other side we added that third, which is the darker at the bottom. So you can kind of see what that low light adds to the paint finish. Like that's beautiful.
Okay, let me get the light.
You gotta show the bottom though.
I know. I'm going.
That's where the darker color is.
I'm going.
Get on with it.
Now you're gonna critique me. Have you not seen what I'm up against
here? I'm getting hangry. All right, so do you guys see the difference adding that little bit of that darker color? So that's why I tend to do 3 color blends. It's because then I've got my dominant color, which is that medium purple, and I've got a highlight to it, a lighter color, and a low light, a darker color. And they're all just tonal versions of the purple.
Your tonal.
You don't like my tonal with you? All right, you guys. So I hope that was helpful. Honestly, this is a beautiful finish that's been really popular for me, and it's super simple to get to. We just did a first coat and then a second coat. Those steps, and you guys saw how I put the colors on, give myself a little bit of paint, take that clean, dry brush, and work those transitions out. Very, very little paint and a soft hand are going to be your best friends when you're blending. Okay, and I ended up using a total of 4 brushes here. So I've got my Midnight Sky brush, I've got my lighter purple brush and a darker purple brush, and then my clean dry brush is what we used. Okay, and my colors again were a mix of muscadine wine and aubergine with a little bit of tea rose. My lighter color, I just went heavier on the tea rose to mix myself a lighter version of it, and then Midnight Sky for shading. And this will all get black wax in here and gold gilding wax and a transfer. So it's the layering process. The paint is my first layer in this whole look, but every layer you adds a little bit of dimension to your finish, and together it makes a complete finish. Okay, I'm gonna get off, you guys, because I'm hungry.
What?
But I hope you guys had a really good Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to Dixie-Belle. You guys have some great Black Friday shopping tomorrow. I posted on my page some of my Black Friday discounts that are going on through some of my links. So go check those out because there's some really good sales going on for some refinishing companies all through the weekend. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back here live next Thursday. Did I forget anything? My affiliate link is above in the post. If you guys liked any of the colors we used tonight, you can order those at the link above. You can also use that to find a retailer in your area if you want to go check out any of the 69 colors or the metallics or the clear coats or anything else that Dixie-Belle offers.
This is probably the point where you talk about your favorite person.
Santa? No? All right, you guys. Have a good night, okay? Thank you.